Welcome guys, welcome girls, and every human in between. This is the Bear With Me podcast. I'm your host, Whit. Okay, real quick. If you're watching, I saw a post that said Gen Z's gesture. No. I'm saying it wrong. Basically, millennials, we love a peace sign. Gen Z, they love to frame the face. And lately, I've been a face framer. To me, it goes back to strike a pose in Vogue, and they would always frame their face. And so to me, it's that. But I don't mind a good face frame. Like, check me out. So I guess I'm becoming current, if you will. I don't know. Whatever. If you're new, hi. If you are returning, thank you. Always like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Bear with me, because I heard the TH on my tongue. Bear with me podcast, available on majority platforms, wherever you like to watch and listen. This is the last episode of this season. Aww. And I got mixed feelings about it. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, a part of me not even a part. I definitely want to keep going, but I have to know where I am, know what I'm capable of, and move forward as such. And there's to be effective in the production of this podcast, as well as my 9 to 5. They both require a lot more time than what I have to give. And so I have to pick the 9 to 5. Trust me when I tell you, we're coming back for sure. March, April-ish, and then we're gonna ride that all the way through the summer. But, here we are. And I'm hoping that this is the best. I'm hoping that this cycle is the best cycle for me, for it. And if you watch on YouTube, please know that you will still be getting content. Those of us who listen, come see me on YouTube, because I'm gonna be doing other stuff that isn't as full production as this. Because while y'all might be like, girl, you sitting in your house with a camera, work go behind this, okay? Know that. So yeah. But thank you for those who have been supporting me all this time. Your support, your reshares, your sharing of my podcast, your likes, your comments, all of that has not gone unnoticed and or unappreciated. So thank you. I definitely, knowing that I was approaching the end, I wanted to go up until so I did go. I don't know. I wanted to go further than when this is airing. Let's take a moment. I'm drinking sangria because it's a celebration. Cheers. Okay. I wanted to go. I forgot how long. I wanted to go to 20 episodes. I really wanted to get to 20, but I just what is being required of me and what is being requested of me, I'm just like, I just can't. So I got to pick my battles. And I think that has a lot to do with what I've experienced in the last, 7 months now. And yeah, here we are. And so I just got to make sure that I'm moving in a way that supports me holistically, not just my creative energy and so forth and so on. But I'm ready to get into what we're going to talk about. So one of the things I was like, well, how am I going to close it? How am I going to close it? And I was like, we could close off on something else, 90s. And I was like, I don't know what else I really wanted to do. But whatever. And so I got my hair done. Check me out. Oh, I love my loctician. And unfortunately, she retired. However, I was her last client on her last day. That is a seat and a title that only I possess. and I'm grateful. But I was talking to her about like what it could be, and I knew that I wanted this episode to be about change, but I wasn't really sure how. And so I was just having a conversation with her because when you in the chair of your your hairdresser, beautician, if you throw back, how many people still got beauticians? They don't really exist no more. Everybody is a hairstylist. And there's definitely a difference. If you don't know the difference between a beautician and a hairstylist, you must have been born after 2000. Anyway, I was talking to her and she helped me kind of like shape the lane of how I'm going to guide this conversation. But before we get into that, I want to do some pop culture convo real quick because I can, and it's the last episode. First, let's talk about the little girl. And I gotta stop doing that. I gotta stop calling grown women little girls. But anytime you younger than me, you a little girl. And I need to stop because didn't nobody call me a little girl when I was 25, 23, all that. I don't know if I said this in the last episode, but I'm closer to 40 than I am 30. And that's been replaying on my mind like the last week or two. Like, I'm closer to 40 than I am 30. Wow. I accept it. Like, I say wow, like, it's just kind of like wow. But I don't want it to sound like I'm afraid to get older because I'm not. I have definitely accepted every age that I have reached. 21, 25, 29. Like, people get 29, like, I don't want to be 30. I don't know why people were so scared to turn 30. But baby girl, run me to 30 and had a good time. 31, even though it was COVID when I turned 30, but you know what? I digress. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 30, even just counting. Even just counting up to 37. Wow. Yeah. All right. So, current events. If you've been keeping up, if you be watching on Instagram, I feel like every time they have every time they perform, there's something about the concert. One, them people over in Europe or UK or whatever city, state, whatever, they supposed to be sentencing that man, and I'm just like, it made me think again, like, why am I still supporting this man when he be? But this is the case from when he was doing his Breezy Bowl, if y'all remember. And they had detained him, and like everybody was concerned about the tour being postponed and if it was gonna be canceled, if he was gonna be in jail because of some mess that he had chosen for some choices that he chose to make because he don't know how to keep his hands to himself or control his anger. And that's the issue for me. And it don't matter male or female. He be like, anybody could get it, and that's the issue because you need to be able to learn how to communicate without putting your hands on people. Or using objects to put your hands on people. We're not here for that. We're not here for that specifically. We are here to talk about Usher and the little girl he brought up on stage. I called her a little girl again. Oops. Brought this little girl on stage, and he was doing a "Can You Handle It" segment. Now, if you've been watching, he basically gets some girl out the audience, and then they lay on the bed, and then he don't be as he don't. How would I? He's not as, it's more sensual than it is sexual, if that makes sense. And if you don't know, you're not grown. But anyway, so when he be having the girls up there, it be very much more sensual. So he like leaning into her. Shorty got her hands to her side, and he's leaning into her, but she like laying back, and she looks uncomfortable. And so then he walks off like, she don't look like she want to be up here. That's what he said like twice on the mic, like for everybody to hear. And he had said something else, I forgot. But he seemed kind of like he might have had a little attitude about it too. Me personally, I think I'm like, okay. And then he started like looking like he was pointing to the audience like, yeah, you, I don't know, whatever. But the little girl came on the comments and was like, one, I was in VIP and we was asked if we wanted to be on stage. Me and my mom, not me and my mom, but she was with her mom, and she was asked if she wanted to be on stage. They was in the VIP section, so they didn't know who, she didn't know who she was going on stage for, and she wanted Chris Brown. And she like, all of y'all talking about me, and if you didn't want, if what they would do if they was to be up there and that. And she was like, who's gonna turn down being on stage? Okay. Now, I'm with you when you write. Who gonna turn down being on stage? Nobody. Number two, thank you for letting us know that you don't know who you going up there for when they recruit you. But I think you do, because Chris Brown, from my experience at least, Usher recruited his girl right where he was at, and Chris Brown recruited his girl right where he was at. Now, she said that they got her before the show even started and was like, "You want to go on stage?" Now, let that be true. Who are we to tell her that she a liar? So let's say before the concert started, they saw her, and then she got to talking about her face card. Girl, what are we talking about? Because now you're making this a colorism type of thing. Like, I ain't really like that. So she said that they got her on stage they asked her before the concert started if she wanted to be on stage, and she said yeah. She wanted Chris Brown and Chris Brown only. Okay. You wanted Chris Brown and Chris Brown only. So then there had to have been indicated, if they pulled you from the crowd, although they had pre-recruited you, you knew good and goddamn well Chris Brown wasn't nowhere to be found when they was like, "Come here." No, thank you. You could have backed out. You can say no. But you want to go on stage, be seen, and not be seen with the man that you wanted, and then you gonna act all stiff and awkward? Girl, what? And now you upset. Then she gonna say something, "I'm not embarrassed, I'm not embarrassed, I'm not ashamed about what I did." But you taking interviews, talking to people. What? Why are you defending this little 30 seconds of airtime? Now you're milking this, in my opinion. You are milking this for no reason for me, in my opinion, but whatever. So, yeah. Okay, everybody got their choices. She wanted Chris Brown over Usher. Respect to receive it. Now that there had to be indicators that you wasn't finna get Chris Brown. There had to be, I feel like. But again, I don't know, I wasn't in her show. Okay, next up. Yeah, I'm gonna be drunk. Cause when you don't be drinking like that, it don't take a whole lot to get a little slump. All right. Black Panther 3 is coming out in, I think it said December 2028. I'm excited. And the actor playing his son is going to be a guy named David Johnson. He's a Brit actor. Now, I'm bringing this up because I feel like this makes for a really good conversation. And I remember an article or a conversation of something of the sort, whether it be an article or it be a conversation about Brit actors taking over Hollywood here in America. I see the concerns. I see how people could be upset because they too want chances here, especially if they are trying to make it big. Yeah. And then there's a whole accent thing, because sometimes when they try to do us, it come out and it just be sounding forced or whatever. I don't know. I personally feel like there are plenty of talented Black American actors here that deserve opportunities. I also think that there's a level of training that may be more accessible over there. But I don't know, because I'm not trying here. So I can't truly speak. So let me not really say that as if that's fact. But it's definitely interesting, and just like, we didn't say nothing when Adele came over here, or when Hosier, or with Snow, or when all these other people come through our market, we don't say nothing about that, but we got an issue about Brit actors. We can't act like they don't got their own fair share of racism and or criticism. So we all, might look different. It might vary, but listen, you look like me, on no on any continent. So I'm here for you, and I'm here for your journey, and I can't wait to see what you're gonna do. So and it's Ryan Coogler. It's Ryan Coogler. He write it, he directed, whatever he do with it, I'm with it. Period, point blank. And I think that's all my pop culture updates. Yeah. That's it. So back to it. So I did take some notes because I really wanted to be very thoughtful about how I address this, and because this season of change, I haven't titled the episode yet. I'm gonna kind of rewatch me and then decide what the title gonna be based off of put something I potentially say. I don't know, but the recent episode's been about nostalgia, and I said in some episode about my birthday, I get real reflective, and I just start thinking about like where I've been, where I'm going, where I am, and just all the different things. And so one of the things that kind of just kept coming up for me is change, and just how much has changed. Like, so much has changed since March for me. So much has changed since January for me. So much has changed since February 2025. And holistically, there's been a lot of change for all of us since 2020, and then our society and a lot of our norms and our politics, and like so much is changing around us at a big overarching level as well as very minute. And change will sometimes sneak up on you, and you're not always aware of it. Like, and throughout this, I'm definitely going to have personal scenarios or stories to tie into these different points. But I just think about where education is. And, as I'm going back into it this fall, I just think about what it was when I first started in August 2015. And it's just like, yeah, the things that we were doing as teachers, the accountability that was present for parents, the resources that were available for families, like so much was available, and now it is very limited in various buckets. And so and then when you think about just how much things have slowly started to change, or even just like the big jump from from textbooks to paper to ed tech, like that feels like almost overnight. But I digress. So I want to invite us all to just kind of reflect and think about the change you have experienced or the change you are navigating now. And I say that because I know so many people who are quitting their jobs, so many people who are starting families or expanding families, so many people who are relocating, so many people who are just having a personal and spiritual change and shift. And so this episode is for us. This is for us because change is the only thing that's constant. Change is the only thing that's constant. Like, you don't got to worry about nothing else changing or nothing else staying the same. But change gonna come. And Shorty ain't even got into the thick of it, and she already want to get misty-eyed. Ew. Whatever. It's okay. Just let it move through you. All right. I first want to acknowledge what change actually feels like, because there are signs, there are quiet signs, and then what it feels like in the moment when you're actively changing. And I think about me personally, like right now, I'm noticing that what is about to be required of me is going to be a change from what I've had the last year and a half. And it feels uncomfortable, it feels exciting, and sometimes it's very much in between. And I want to remind us that that's okay. Change can feel uncomfortable and it can feel unsettling, and there could be a little bit of fear associated with it. Change can also be exciting, like when you are starting a new something. That's all good. And then there's also a lot of us where the change is very much in between, because you know that something is going to be required of you that you are unaware of. Change is new, change is good. And also just remind ourselves that change is not linear, nor does it ever feel clean. Like it's stirring up the pot. So it's not going to feel clean and it's not going to feel linear. It's not going to be, let's say you wanted to lose weight. It's not going to be, oh, 220, now I'm at 215, now I'm at 210, now I'm at 205, now I'm at 200. That thing might go 220, 219, 220, 217, 218, 215, 211, 215. Like, it's not going to be linear. Like, that's just not how change happens, period, point blank. So I want us to remember that when we are going through our changes, give yourself grace and give yourself even more grace to just be in the in between, because some moments of the change are going to feel good. I would call those the small wins. And then some of them are going to be uncomfortable because you're literally breaking and building. The in order to get stronger, your muscles break down or tear, and then they rebuild. So if that's what your body physically do, imagine what your mental and emotional do. Okay. Where am I? When we experience or start to experience change, there are often myths, I don't, that word, okay, myths that are associated with that. And sometimes I know at one point in my life, it felt like change meant starting over. And that's totally not the case, because as I am changing, I'm not starting over back from when I was 18, 19, 20. I am revamping or restructuring what I've learned thus far and adding to that. So let's get it out of our minds that it means starting over, because it doesn't mean starting over, because we have gained all this knowledge. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Like, it don't got to be dramatic. Something as simple as, I want to get more sleep. Somebody might be like, what? Somebody might not see the impact of getting more sleep. Somebody might say, I want to lose 10 pounds. And 10 pounds don't seem like a lot for people. But 10 pounds, do you, like, if you really thought about what 10 pounds was, you'd be like, oh, dang, oh, okay. So know that your journey and your change doesn't have to be dramatic. It just got to be enough for you. Ooh, she preaching today, y'all. And we don't have to second guess ourselves going through our change. If I were strong, what did I say? If I were stronger, it wouldn't feel so hard, or it wouldn't feel so challenging. Change is hard, period. And you must be strong enough, otherwise you wouldn't be going through it. And I say going through it because most of the time you have signs well before you actually start changing. Let that sit for a second. Ooh! You don't have to be stronger in order to experience your change. Like, you just don't, because you've been given signs well before you actually start to change, where you even notice it. One of the things that I know for certain for myself is misalignment. Things just won't sit and feel as smooth as they used to. Like, you feel that misalignment, and things that once felt good are now a drain. And you get this feeling of being called, but you're not sure what. Case in point, before I quit and started my business last February, in the school year, I took pictures for my team. I did a maternity photo shoot for one of my teammates, and I just started doing a lot more in photography. Not even really aware or connecting to the fact like I want to do this and I want to do it full time. I want this to be my main source of income, or I don't want to do education anymore. I knew that I was kind of like it just wasn't as fun for me anymore. I remember those feelings. And so oftentimes you're going to start feeling it's not going to feel as fun, whatever it is you're experiencing. Even if you're in a relationship that's not truly serving you anymore, you're going to feel that shift. And so much about a lot will be revealed to you, like I'm not where I want to be, or I'm not as fulfilled. And so pay attention to those signs, or you'll just notice that misalignment is showing up. And sometimes they're even spiritual or emotional nudges. It's hard to describe what that is, but those of us who are listening, you know it when you know it. Like, you just know it. And sometimes we ignore them. That is for sure. I will definitely admit that for myself. Sometimes you ignore them, and then other times they hit you in the face with a brick. Like, pay attention to me. And then you got to. And once you become aware of your desire or your unknown desires, there is a level of resistance initially, because we be like, am I tripping? Am I tripping? And it is so much more easier to stay in familiar patterns. It's easy because we know the waters that we tread in, and we not really ruffling no feathers, and everything is just copacetic. And then we also cling to those old identities. I can't tell you how uncomfortable it would be sometimes when, as I was evolving, my nickname from late high school into college, how much that would bother me when I would hear somebody call me that. But I've learned to embrace who I was at that time, because I as I was getting older and I was maturing, sometimes, first off, if you know my name, my nickname from end of high school all throughout college, you was a part of Whit with a time, okay? Like, that girl, woo! But as I was evolving and just becoming a greater being, I kind of was just like, stuff her in the closet. We don't want no parts with her. We can't not have no parts with Shorty. You want to know why? Shorty is a part of me, and she still lives. And I also had to learn to embrace that part. Like, she wasn't no bad person. She just a lot of cut up, and she came with a lot. So, like, really just loving and embracing all parts of you as you evolve. Like, you don't have to hate where you were because you feel like you're in such a better place, because that wouldn't be self-love. But clinging to old identities, like, I can't cling to Shorty. I just can't, because I don't even truly connect. I won't say I don't identify. I don't really connect with high school and college me, but I rocks with her, you know. If I go back home for homecoming, she might pop out. What's up? But to the full maximum capacity, to 100%, no, I don't think she coming out like that. But after you have, or as you work through the resistance, as you are become aware of the signs, Now you got to do the hard part. And this is the hardest part to me. You can let me know if you disagree, but to me, the hardest part is naming the transition ahead and not pretending that it's not happening, and giving yourself permission to not have the full plan yet. Vulnerable moment. I'm very much stuck, and I won't say stuck because that's a hard word. I'm very much in a place where I know I don't want to do this. I know I don't want to. I know I don't want to. But it's really what I have to do in order to continue to provide for myself and kind of restart or revamp my business. Like, it take money to make money. And I'm not about to start going out here asking for money or loans and credit. That's not how I want to do my business. But I know that I could go back to education and make money to be able to support my business. And it's crazy because as a person who values her time, school is too much of the damn day. Okay? Working in education is so much of the day. So much of the day. And it's like that time, I honestly feel like I could be doing all the other things that I want to do for my business. But I know that I'm working out what my plan is going to be. I was just texting my friend and she was just like, have you decided what your content is going to look like after you finish the podcast, but you keep doing content? I said, honestly, I'm not really sure. I know one of the things I need to do is schedule and create a level of routine, but a big part of me feels like when I have too much of a schedule, it feels robotic and I'm not in flow, and it feels limiting or restrictive, and it's really hard to capture and explain, like, unless this is kind of how you see life. I don't know if you would truly understand, but a super tight schedule doesn't feel like flow for me, and I definitely perform best when I'm in flow. But I also know, value, and see the benefits of structure and routine. It's one of my strongest suits when I'm in the classroom. It's crazy, but whatever. So give yourself permission to not have the full plan. I don't have the full plan about my business and about me going back into the classroom and just like none of this. Like, when I tell y'all, in February, it was dark. Like, February was dark, and a lot of bit of March. It was dark. It was dark. I could be standing outside in the sun and everything just feels like, oh, okay. Or I would just break down because I could see the sun, but I couldn't truly connect the way I used to. And all I could do is just literally look down and just take one step in front of the other, in front of the other. And I can't see the road ahead of me. Like, I still can't see the road ahead of me. I just have to look down and seriously just be like, okay, this is what we want to do. What do we need to do to get there? And then I just go from there, and it's like left, right, left, right. And I think so much of me always had a plan. Like, a lot of lessons and mindsets were instilled in me as a child. Like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. So much of my life was in lockstep. And now at good old 37, also fun fact, they say you shed every 7 years. And I don't mean like physically, I mean your being. Your being evolves or grows and sheds old ways and habits every 7 years. And when you think about it, physiologically you do too. 7, that's a growth spurt. 14, puberty. 21, right? Because that's 6, yeah, 21. I forget what tends to happen there. But then by 25, you also get another surge of hormones, but we're not gonna get into all that, but whatever. Yeah. And then fun fact, if you into the astrology of it, as it takes Saturn 30 years, 29 point something. I think it's 29.7 or 29.2. I don't know. But it takes Saturn almost 30 years to be in the exact position it was when you were born. And when you turn 30, they call that your Saturn's return. And that is when things start to shift. And when you think about it socially, people say when you turn 30, the light bulb go off. And oh my goodness, yes, it for real be like that. I remember going through a big chunk of my 30s, not my 30s, a big chunk of my 20s seeking external validation and satisfaction through a various of means and trying to be what I thought people wanted me to be. And now as when I turn 30, the slow awareness of like, no, I can't do that. This is me. This is me. So please accept me for who I am. If you don't know that song, that's called True, TRU by Lloyd. That was the album when he was butt naked with a guitar in the middle of the greenery. Yeah. Stay focused, bring it back. I'm going to take a pause so I can clear my nose and clear my face because I definitely feel like I got bags and I don't like that. No more crying, okay? There's no crying in baseball. No more crying. Give yourself permission to not have the full plan yet. And lastly, in that, seek support. Like, we don't have to go through change alone. We don't. Find your support system and rock with them. And if you realize that your support system is not who they need to be for you, move around. I think I'm almost done. Yeah, so I make sure I get my I want us to think of change as an invitation because I feel like there's this narrative in social media when they talk about change and evolving and just like letting things go. And while I get that some people do need to be removed, there are some people who can grow with you. Dang, you finna cry again? No, we're not doing it. Okay. There are some people who can grow with you through your growth and they can support your growth in their own way. Like y'all might not still approach life similarly or whatever, but they can still be a part of your life. Yeah, like everybody like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, so you gotta go. Like, whoa, okay. That's a little, I won't say that's a little extreme because some people, when they call them energy vampires, yeah, if there are energy vampires in your life, move them out of here, out of my way. But if there are people where the way in which y'all move and do life don't, unless there's true hindrances why y'all can't, there's no reason for you not to be able to grow and you still be their friend, you know? And if, especially if they are accepting of your growth, because we all got to remember that ain't nothing constant but change. So rock the boat or ride the wave is what I'm actually trying to say. Change is an invitation. It's an invitation to, girl, Shorty wrote this shorthand and don't know how she wrote it. It's an invitation to a season of, be accepting of what this season is inviting you into. Yes, it's fearful, but be open. Like you don't know what you are you don't understand, or you're not necessarily aware of what you're resisting versus what you're allowing. Like One of the things I always tell myself is have an open mind, be open to receive. I literally say, I am open to receive. I have to be open because if I'm closed off, I'm falling back into familiar patterns and I don't know what I could be closing myself off to. Because just on the other side of that could be what I need. And here I am stopping short. Which leads me to, if there is something you are doing, I got a couple friends. I feel like this is the age and the season of business ownership. Like, and maybe because that's just where I'm at in my life. And in the last generation, this was their boom when they started doing it. But I know so many more personal businesses. I know people who have their own business, and I try to pour into, if you tell me you got your own business, I'm finna see how I can support you, because this government I'm ready to go pick a planet and live over there and be done with it. Like, cause I can't even go to another country because everybody got their fair share. I just want to start either my next life form, or I want to just go to another planet in this life form. I don't know. I can't do this no more. I'm gonna say I can't do this no more because I don't want to sound like that. But understand that, like, because I forgot where I was going when I went on that tangent. Turn back the page. Okay. On the other side is whatever it is you're looking for, and you want to be able to get there. So don't give up. That's where I was going. So to my people who have businesses or just things that they want to pursue more intentionally, like, we just got to get over the hump and just do it like Nike say. It's hard. Like, I knew the statistic that most businesses fail within the first 2 years, and I haven't failed. And I'm not going to claim that. And I'm going to continue to see what works for me and do what works for me. And to my people who are thinking about doing something different, whether it be a business, a hobby, or whatever it might be, keep trying. Keep trying. I saw this post and dude said 2 things. He said, a winner is just a loser who tried one more time. And winners lose more than losers ever try. I said, say that one more time, and I rewinded the reel. A winner is just a loser who tried one more time. And winners lose more than losers even try. So don't give up. And if through your change it is something that you are gaining, push through, because just on the other side of that, like, it could be more than what you ever thought, dreamed, wanted, and or desired. And so, shorty acting like the podcast is done forever, but it really has been fun. Like, out of 2024 and 2025, this season has been my best yet, I would say. I've enjoyed it more. I'm more versed in what I'm doing, and just like, I'm really, really happy to be here. Like, shorty might only be getting 30 views here and there. You know, sometimes I might shoot up to 60 or 100, but I really, really enjoy what I'm doing. So yeah, change is good. Change is constant. Damn, is that the name of the episode? Okay. As always, clear your throat. Let's take one more sip, guys. As always, wishing you love, light, and laughter. Until next time.